Hello everybody, and a very special welcome to my channel Sewing Made Easy. For those of you who haven't found me so far, my name is Lilo Siegel. I live in Germany and I am German. I'm a professional tailor, and a while ago I had this idea to give some of my knowledge onto you for anybody in YouTube who is interested in some good sewing techniques and pattern making. And that is actually what this video today is all about. As I've been asked from my German YouTube fans several times if I could show how to make a pattern for a jacket, for a Sakko, I decided to show this to all of you. First in German always, then in English. As this is quite a big project and not done so easy, I would like to say a couple of things before I start showing you this. Well, first of all, to do a pattern for a jacket, you should have maybe a little bit of knowledge already, or otherwise you have to take really a lot of time to do this correctly, to follow me step by step, which I will show, because it will take some patience. It is not just done so easily. As you must know, if you usually become a tailor, you're going to a long time of schooling of 2, 3, 4 years until you're able to do such good patterns and such good work. So don't hesitate in case if you start doing it and you think, "Ooh, that's so difficult." As long as you concentrate on every step I'm showing you, you will be able to follow it and do it as well. So far to that part. Now this video would be way too long to show you the complete jacket in one go. That is why I will divide the pattern making parts into at least 3 parts, which means I'll first show you today in this video how you can do the body, the front, the side, the back. In the next video, which will come in a couple of days' time, I'll show you how to add the color. And in the following video after that, the tutorial will show you how you can make the pattern for the sleeve. Farther on, I will also tell you in another video how you can cut the jacket, and another video also will show you how you can sew it. So you see, there's quite some big projects coming up here at the moment in this following what I will do. All the patterns and all the work that I show you which I'm making, I always work with centimeters, as we do not use inch at all in Germany. So please don't ask me to show you the same thing in inch measurements, because I know there are tape measures that you can buy where you got both inch and centimeters next to each other on. So all you have to do is buy yourself one of those tape measures and you can follow me just the same. And it's just a matter of getting used to it, to be honest. But before you go into this, the first step you have to do is take some very exact and good measurements of the person that you would like to make this jacket for. In case if you're not sure how to do this correctly, you can look up my English tutorial on how to take the measurements and what kind of measurements you actually need. But I will also explain this a little bit while I'm going along, not how to take the measurements. As I said, there is an extra video for it, but otherwise you will see exactly which measurements you need to do this particular jacket step by step. Last but not least, what I have to say now here is that I've chosen certain sizes of a person, those sizes which I will use to do this pattern. But don't forget, all the way along, you will always have to take the measurements of the body you've been measuring. Never take mine, unless they're by accident exactly the same one, which I don't think will happen. That it would be quite unique then. So in case if I made you nosy and interested, then let's start doing the video right now. Here we go. Have fun. So first of all, have a look on all the tools and the items you will need. Yes, you do need a tape measurement, you need a drawing paper, your pens, pencils, whatever you want. the tape measurement. Here's one that you can see with inches and centimeters on the same one. And those are all the sizes which you have to measure. So stop the video if you wish and write down all the different measures that you will have to take to be able to start the pattern with me together. So are you ready? I am. Start by drawing a long line for the middle back. To measure the exact size, take your body height divided by 8 times 3.5 and you will get the measurement for the complete length for your jacket in the middle and the back. Mark both ends and put on the top in a right angle a line across. Now measure from the top down. Put a mark first of all for your bust line while working this out, as you can see here written. Then a mark for the waistline and a mark for the hip line. That hip line measurement you measure from the waistline point on. To work out a very good fitting waist on the coat, we also need an extra mark on the waist, which means from your waistline you do measure, depending on how tall the person is, between 1.5 and 3 centimeters above the actual waist point. In my case, I took 2 centimeters for normal body size. Now you take your right angled ruler and from those marks that you've just done, put right angle lines all the way across on each one of them. The bottom you can also do a little bit, but you can also do that later. That depends on you at this particular moment. Now look again on your 2 top lines that you marked, which the top one I said will be later the shoulder. The next one is your bust line. Now halve this exactly into the same parts on that top. Now go to your hip line, which is that one that I'm pointing out at the moment, and mark 3 centimeters to the right. Put a mark on 3 centimeters. Now take a long ruler and put a line between your middle mark on the top there and the 3 centimeter mark on the bottom, as this is the back middle, as I mentioned, as we need it later to form the back nicely. Now you take the complete size from your neck, divide it by 6 and add 1.5 centimeters and mark that exactly on the top, as you can see here me showing you. From the top left corner you now mark in a 17-degree angle a line towards the neckline you've just marked. Now you take a tailor's curve and mark it nicely for your neck part. Now you go to your hired waistline and mark from your last line 1 centimeter over. Take again the tailor's curves and form it out nicely on all parts, so you don't have anywhere square corners. You all gotta round it so it will have a nice form going down your back. Again, we need a right angled ruler, which I'm putting onto the new marked line, and draw now the bottom seam new. And you will see that this line now slightly goes upwards to the right side, and because you have to have a right angled exactly in the corner where I put the little point there for you, and then the back line slightly moves up on the right side, as you can see. Now work on 1/10 of your bust plus 10.5 centimeters and mark this from your new back line towards the right. Take a right angled ruler again and draw it in a right angle towards your top line. Mark this through, so you got a nice little square there. From this new drawn corner, mark down 1.5 centimeters. Now take your ruler, put it on the point from your neckline on the top, go over the new drawn point and make it 1.5 centimeters longer than the actual square line that you do have there, and also mark the end point there. Now we're concentrating on the right line that we have just made the square of. Measure it and half it exactly from the top line to that second line down. Take half of it and now add 2.5 centimeter to that half measurement and put a mark down for that. Then we will extend this particular new mark that we measured downwards, not upwards, and extend it by 1.5 centimeters. As soon as you've done that, take your tailor curve, because this will be your first part of your sleeve hole, and try to find a nice curve to mark this for the first part of your sleeve hole. Now put your tape measure on your bust or back line and extend it to the right by 1 centimeter. Put a mark there. Now go to your hip line, and you remember on the bust line we had a 21.5 centimeter earlier on which we marked. Take from this 21.5 1.5 centimeters off, which leaves you 20 centimeters, and mark that from the new back line across on the hip line. Mark it and now extend those two new points that you've just drawn and mark it all the way down in a straight line. On the hired waist, you mark now 1.5 centimeters to the left, with other words inwards, and again with the tailor's curve you even out not only the waist, also on the top you round it slightly off towards your sleeve hole. And do this very carefully, go over and over again if you're not satisfied, though you don't have any funny corners in it, that it's really smooth. Now once again put a right angle on the bottom of your new drawn seam for the bottom and mark it so for later on you know there you need a right angle on the bottom, and this will be the way you will have to cut your material. Take your long ruler and now extend exactly following the line all the lines you've done so far. First the chest or back line, then the slightly higher waist, then the normal waistline and the hip line. Now we take a measurement which isn't written down anywhere. So take a measurement of between 25 and 30 centimeters. This is only to make space at the moment for the middle part. And mark this. I took 26 centimeters in my case here. Take your right angle ruler. From that top line in a right angle, draw a line down all the way to approximately your mark from the seam that you will have on the bottom. Again, we will continue now on the bust line. Take 1/8 of your bust measurement plus 4 centimeters and mark it from the right new drawn line towards the left. Now work out 2/10 of your bust size plus 2 centimeters and make a mark on the right side of that line. Again with your ruler in a right angle, draw a line all the way down to the seam, where will be the seam, and that will be approximately your front line already at this moment. Take your measurement now. Measure this new square on the top along the line. Half it at 0.5, which means a half a centimeter in that square. Mark it half a centimeter next to that half point. Now go to the hired waistline and halve this square there on that line exactly in half. Again, take a ruler and combine those 2 points and extend it towards the top, as this will be a helping line for the middle for the chest. Now go with your tape measure to the middle line on the bust line and draw towards the left 3.5 centimeters and then 2.5 centimeters. Now you go on the higher waistline. You mark 2 centimeters to the left and another 2 centimeters to the left. Now you go on the hip line, and again there 2 centimeters marked from that line, and again 2 centimeters marked to the left. Now you take your ruler and combine all those lines with each other. And you can draw it a little bit lower towards the seam already over that point. The bottom ones will be parallel, as you could see, but the top ones, because we got a different measurement on the top there, of course, goes slightly sideways, as you can see right here. Now again we need to work out a measurement, so take half of your hip size minus your back width of 20 centimeters plus 8.5. I have a width now of 41.5 centimeters, which I just marked. With my ruler, I now draw a straight line up to the other point, which I marked earlier on for you. On my hired hip line, I now mark towards the right side, which means the inside of the side part, 1.5 centimeters, and I combine those lines to the top and the other one towards the bottom, which will already can be extended right away because that's one of the side parts right there. Now you extend with a right-angled ruler your line, which was going straight up before on the side, until it reaches more or less across the point which you marked earlier on for the first part of your back sleeve hole, and you combine them to a right angle right there. Now take your first measurement from your back, which I marked with red points for you, at 3.5 centimeters and mark that on this line as shown. Take a right angle, put a right angle onto it, and then draw a line down to the first line that you see here as I put the ruler on. Again, we need our back height measurement of 24.5 centimeters. We quarter it and get 6.2 centimeters, which we mark from that line towards the top. And now we measure 4 centimeters down from the top line, from the upper corner. Now measure the length of your back shoulder. My width is 15.75. I shortened that number by 0.75 centimeters, which means I got 15 centimeters shoulder width, which I mark over that new point that I draw 4 centimeters down from the corner into the right top corner, and mark the end of these 15 centimeters measured from the right top corner. Now I take my tailor's ruler, the round one, and I got 3 points here, as you can see, the one from the shoulder, the one going towards the sleeve hole, and this one in the middle on the bottom from those 3 going down. And I nicely mark them out exactly as my sleeve hole should be. Now work out 1/6 of your neck size at 1.5 centimeter and make a mark downwards that line. Draw a right angle from that mark on and work out 1/6 of your neck size again plus 2.5 centimeters and mark it in that length across. Draw a new line from that point downwards towards the front point. Put your tape measure back on your front shoulder and extend it towards the top by 1.75 centimeters. Now go to your front line and mark on the higher set waist 1.5 centimeters towards the front on the right side, and just above that point 1.5 centimeter above it. Put a mark right there. Draw a line between this last point you just marked now towards your extended front shoulder part, because this is the line where your lapel later on will roll over. Now take your tailor's curve, go to the front neckline and draw a nice curve for your front neckline. Now go with your right ankle down the lapel line until you reach exactly the corner of your front lapel part and draw a line across that. Now extend that line by 1.5 to 2 centimeters and mark it well. Take again your tape measure and now measure from your back side seam the length between the seam and the slightly higher waistline, and mark exactly that length from your hired waistline down to the bottom of the middle side part and mark it. Take that measurement at 1 centimeter of length, and again from the hired waistline measure this new measurement with the extended 1 centimeter down towards the bottom, and combine those 2 points as a seam part. And now finish drawing the lines which are not quite extended yet to the bottom of the seam. All 3 of them just straight down, as you can see. Next, take your tailor's curve and look on the middle part between those 2 points, one from that square corner onto that first of the 3 lines drawn down, because that is part of your sleeve hole, which now we marked by just putting that ruler onto there. Now you measure on the bottom 3.5 centimeters towards the left side. Put a mark there, because this will be the mark to help you to draw a nice line, a nice curve for the continuous work. Look for the correct ruler. This is not always easy. As you can see, I'm trying a lot of things, and often I find I got to do those lines by hand actually, because no matter how many curves I got, they're not always the right shape to use for anything. But I can use it for a little bit, and the rest I will probably have to do by hand. Again, just take your time for jobs like that, or if you don't like it, redo it. It's all possible to do this. But now for the top, you can see on the lapel on the top we made this extra point sticking out, and here I can use a nice flat curve which will just give me the right shape for up there. Otherwise, as I said, you got to do it, or you can do it by hand, of course, as well, if you got a nice quiet hand, which I don't necessarily have. Now measure the lapel length on the marked points. Take -4 centimeters of that measurement off and draw it and measure it onto the front line that you marked. Make another mark right there. Then extend your neckline towards that new point. Let it run out smoothly towards the point. Now go to the front middle waist part on the higher one and make a mark 2 centimeters next on the left side to that line. Take a right angle, which you lie down on the seam on the bottom, let it run over that new point and mark it to the bust line. From the bust line down on that line, make a mark on 4 centimeters. Now measure the complete length of that long line from bottom to the bust line and half that exactly. Make a mark, because that will be the end of your dart on the bottom, while the other one, the mark on the top, which we draw earlier on, is the top and the end of your dart. Now measure the length from the seam to that first mark at 0.75, which means 3/4 of a centimeter, and put a mark right there on that first one. You can also put one right away on that second one. That doesn't really matter, but that means that line is slightly higher than your first mark on the right side, and pull a line across, because this will be where your pocket will be later on. Now we need to mark the darts going up, so you go on that line again and mark on each side 3/4 of a centimeter or 0.75 on both sides, and draw a line to your point, which is the end of the dart on the top. So put that both sides down and you can already spot now your dart. We also need a little dart on the bottom, so towards the left side mark 1 centimeter and now draw the line towards the middle of the other dart on the top, and you will see this is your bottom dart on your jacket. As the top of the front gets a total different shape with the darts being in, we also have to now consider this on the side. That means here where your line is, you extend the top part by 0.75 centimeters and you shorten the bottom one also by 0.75. And then you can already take your curve and slightly from these new points that you marked, draw your hip line slightly curved, because nothing on the body is actually totally straight. So you will see now the top part of the front will look much longer, but that is exactly the difference of the dart you do have in the middle, which will be needed, otherwise it will not fit later on when you stitch this together. Now you should have a look at all your sides, which you maybe by now only done with a straight line, and make sure you have no funny edges and nowhere. Make them round everywhere. That makes it smooth, easy for sewing, and it makes it look and fit much better. Now we got to start looking at the pocket on the bottom. So your line that you have there, extend it by 1.5 centimeters towards the front and mark it. Then make a decision how high you want the pocket to be. So I suggest choose something between 5 and 6 centimeters. I just did a drawing here of 5.5. Of course, you mark exactly the same height then on the other side with a little point, and you can combine those two lines with each other right away. And as I draw on the bottom of the jacket a curve, I suggest you should on the pocket also do a slightly curve, at least on the front of the pocket. You can also do one on the back, but that is all a matter of taste, design, and fashion, of course. Now you should extend this line right away into your side piece, because it will run into there later on when you sew this jacket. The complete length of the pocket to put your hand in should be between 15 and 18 centimeters. Again, that all depends on if you're a very strong, big person, or if you're a very small size. And of course, again, what you got planned to do with the pockets. Very often, as you know, on high quality jackets, the pockets are stitched up anyway, so you cannot bend them and stretch them out. And here you see, I put a slight little curve on my pocket because it fits much better with this jacket and looks so much better. And don't forget, you should also have a little pocket on the top in the chest part. So from your chest line, mark down 2 centimeters and combine that point with the corner point from your arm sleeve, as you can see right here. Then measure from the line coming down on the sleeve hole 4 centimeters on the line inward to the right, more or less. And now on the sideways going line that you just marked, draw approximately between 11 and 12 centimeters lengths on for that pocket. The height and the size of this one should be between 2.5 and 3 centimeters. You can mark it in a right angle up, or you can also do it slightly sloping, which is actually the usual, but again there it's a bit a matter of the taste and what you like. So mark it all the way in and you can see exactly what your pockets, what your coats are gonna look like. I've just gone around all the parts with a big marker for you to see it even more optical, what it's gonna look like when you've done those first 3 parts. Well, my dears, that is all for today. The first part done, the back, the side and the front part. Soon to come will be how you can draw the color for it and how you can do the pattern for the sleeve. I hope you could follow me so far. I hope you enjoyed my video and I hope you give me lots and lots and lots of thumbs up. So I wish you all the best for now. And as I say, always have some good working going and talk to you and see you next time around. Bye. Yours, Lilo from Germany.